Hey guys, so you're probably wondering what I'm doing in my garage today. Well, I'm actually going to be showing you how to refinish a piece of old furniture that you may think is worn out, messed up, ready to go, sit by the road and have the trash guys come and pick it up. But you're wrong. I'm going to show you that that piece of furniture can come back to life with just a little bit of time and patience, and it's actually going to save you a lot of money. Now, when you are refinishing furniture, you're just going to need some supplies to start. First thing is just some cloths for cleaning and doing your sealing wax. So actually all I've done is I've just taken an old t-shirt and I've just cut it up and I use this as my cloth material. You're also going to need some paintbrushes. Now you can use whatever kind you want. These were literally so cheap from Lowe's. The only thing about the cheap paintbrushes is that sometimes the bristles will fall off. So just keep an eye on that because you don't want the bristles to be in your finished product. And we also have our paint. A lot of people, when they think of refinishing furniture and using chalk paint, which is what we'll be using today, they think of Sloan chalk paint, which is this little sample. Sloan is very expensive and very hard to find, so I've had to find some alternatives. And some of the ones that I like, I found this one. I have the Rustoleum. This is from Home Depot, as well as the Americana, also from Home Depot. But my ultimate favorite is the Valspar Chalky Finish, and this is from Lowe's. I think this goes on the best and it lasts the longest, especially up against scratches and stuff like that that may come up in your household. It's also always great to have a paint opener. If you don't have one or you don't want to purchase one, you can use a screwdriver. And then if you want to achieve a distress look, which is what I'll be going over today, you're going to need sandpaper. You can put your sandpaper on a sanding block like this, or to save money, you can just put a piece of sandpaper in your hand. For distressing, you really want to use 120 grit. This is my personal favorite because it gives you more of that distressed look. If you want a lighter distressed look, then you can use one that isn't as intense, and this is just 220 fine. Lastly, you're going to need sealing wax. This is just Valspar once again. This is from Lowe's. You can get this at Home Depot, or Sloan has one as well. The thing about chalk paint and the sealing wax is it's a little expensive in the beginning, but once you start projects, you'll see that it is worth the investment because this will last you a while. As you can see, this one's almost empty. This is my very first can of chalk paint that I've ever bought, and I've done 2 dressers and 3 tables with this one can. I think it was about $26, but the investment has really been worth it. I mean, just think of all the money that I've spent. Instead of buying new furniture, I've just been refinishing it, and it was expensive in the beginning, yes, but it has been so worth it in the long run. So, as you can see, I already started painting this piece because I wanted to have part of it done so that way I could show you how to put on the sealing wax as well as how to distress. Unfortunately, with the weather today, it is very hot and very humid, so I'm not going to be able to show you that because my paint hasn't dried yet. But before I started painting, and what you need to do when you start a project is first you want to remove any and all drawers. This one does have a drawer on the bottom, but I could not get it to come out, and that's okay. You just have to be very careful if they won't come out. You do want to take them out because you don't want to paint over it and have your drawers stick. Also, if there's any knobs, you want to go ahead and take those off as well. I always like to paint my knobs like a fun accent color, so that's why I really like to take mine off, or just to make sure that I paint them evenly. So after you've done all that, you want to go through and you can take the cut up t-shirt and just a little bit of hot soapy water, and you're just going to wipe down your whole piece. This way you can get off any dust, cobwebs, as well as any cleaning product residue that might still be on it. You don't want to use Pledge or any other dusting type of cleaner because those products can mess up how your paint is going to seal to your piece of furniture. So the great thing about chalk paint and why I use chalk paint is because no sanding is involved, no prep is involved. You just have to wipe your surface clean. And once you wipe it clean, usually I wait about 30 minutes to an hour before I start painting, because this is wood and I want to make sure all the moisture is completely gone from the piece. So you can just dab your paintbrush right in. You just need to get like a little bit on there. And then you just kind of start. You just can do simple strokes. There's no right or wrong way when painting with chalk paint. If you want a more clean lines, then I would go a little bit thicker with my paint. But I like more of a distressed look, so I don't even do my paint very thick. As you can tell, there's some areas where it looks like it needs more paint, but sometimes I leave those because that just adds more character and more of that distressed look. Also, when you're painting, if you want to achieve that distressed look, around the corners, it doesn't have to be perfect, because that is where the most damage usually happens to your pieces of furniture, and so that's where I like to go back later on and sand and distress. Now, another great thing about chalk paint is that it dries pretty quickly. Like I said, it's very humid out today, so unfortunately my piece isn't drying. On a normal day, I would just give it a few hours and it's usually pretty dry. So after you're done with the paint, what you can go through and do is your sanding. So you just take your sander, and I would start with the edges. Kind of just do some strokes. You can go on top, up and down. You can go across. There's no right way, because when you're distressing is just giving it that old look, like it's been worn and torn. So there's no perfection to that, and you can't mess it up, I promise. After you've distressed, you want to go back with one of your paintbrushes that is dry or that you really don't use too much on projects, and you want to wipe all that dust off. You don't want that dust to get stuck in there when we go to seal, because when you seal, you're sealing in the paint and you're sealing in your distressing. Now, if you don't want a distressed look, then you just go straight to sealing. So whenever I do my sealing, I just take one of those little raggedy cut up t-shirts and you just dab a little bit in the can. This sealing wax will last you a long time as well. But just dab a little bit in the can, and then you just apply it just up and down all over to everywhere that you've painted. Not a lot, just a little bit. Once you have done that, you're going to take the other end of that t-shirt that you used, or cloth, whatever you want to use. I wouldn't recommend like a dish rag or anything like that, because sometimes the little fibers will shed more. But just take it, and then you're going to wipe off any excess residue wax that might be left on there. And you're done. You have a brand new piece of furniture. The only thing is, takes about 5 to 7 days for your piece to completely cure. Sometimes I'll bring mine back inside after a day or two, but I don't put anything on it for at least 5 to 7 days. You don't want to chip the paint or get your paint on anything else. Like I said, usually it is dry, but sometimes you just never know. So I like to leave mine 5 to 7 days. You're done. You have a piece of furniture that looks brand new, and you've saved yourself a lot of money. The best part about this is, in a few years, if you move houses, you change your paint color, you can just repaint this again. And once again, you're going to save money because you're not buying another new piece. I hope this was helpful, and I hope y'all learned something. Bye.